What's up, everyone? Exaltron, aka Scott Hampton, coming at you with a new video on capture recording in Logic. What is capture recording? Capture recording is a function that basically it's always listening to your MIDI notes. So if you're noodling on the keyboard, if you're trying to work out an idea and suddenly you come up with the most genius melody, bassline, chord progression that you've ever played, you can go back in time and capture what you did. That's the idea of it's always listening, right? So that's a really cool feature. Now, if you've tried to use this in the past, say up to, I don't know, 6 months or a year ago, you may have noticed one crucial limitation, kind of a bug with this, was that if the playhead was not moving, in other words, if Logic was not playing, then any MIDI notes that you would be playing would not be captured in sequence. You would hit capture recording and you would just have a stack of all the notes that you played in one spot. Not very useful, but they fixed it. So I'm very excited. Now works whether you're playing or not playing, which is usually the case when you're trying to work out an idea. So let's say I'm trying to work out an idea here. In this case, a bass line. I'm using DX7 from the Arturia collection. So here's my bass line that I'm going to play. Now, just imagine that I was noodling for a long time before I hit on that idea, and then I'm going to hit capture record. Now, what did it do? It captured exactly what I played. It went back in time because it was listening the whole time. That's really cool. But there's one issue here. If I play this back with the click, we're going to notice that this is not on the grid. This has not tried to interpret my tempo. It's listened and it's recorded these MIDI notes exactly as I played them. But because we're in keep tempo, we still have the original tempo of 87. So that's what this is going to sound like. So eventually it starts to go out of sync. We could try to fix that, but I got a better solution. And this is something I discovered. They also allow you to use adapt tempo along with capture recording, which makes it much, much more powerful and much more similar to the workflow we see in Ableton, where we're interpreting the tempo and putting you right on the grid, which is where you want to be. Okay, so now with adapt tempo, I'm going to play that same bass line. Played it a little bit faster this time. I'm going to hit capture record. And there we go. 97 is what it interpreted. And notice that if we zoom in here, we're going to see that all of my one notes are right at the beginning of a bar. So this should line up nicely with our click. First note didn't register, of course, because it came a little bit before that one, and there's a little bit of wonkiness here. We could easily fix that with quantization, and we will be on the grid. That's one reason why we want to be somewhat on the grid, is to be able to quantize to taste, and also, of course, things like any arpeggiator that you want to use along with this bass line. Any delays that are syncing, so many reasons why we want to start off being on the grid and not have to adapt to something that's off the grid. So that's pretty much it. If you don't have capture record in your transport, I believe it does not show up there by default when you open Logic, but it's easy enough to get it. We're just going to control click anywhere up here and choose customize control bar and display, and there's your capture recording right there. We're just going to check that box, and hit save as default. That way any new project that you open up, you should see that capture recording button there. It's the one with the white circle around it. Hit OK, and you're good to go. One thing to remember is when you're in adapt tempo, just try to remember to flip it back to keep tempo. Logic is just going to behave a little bit more predictably when we're in keep tempo. Adapt tempo is something I only use when I'm actually trying to get that idea on the grid, and I want to avoid playing to a click. Playing to a click is just super tedious, having to take that time to figure out what your tempo is supposed to be, try to play to the click. If the click isn't loud enough, then you lose track of it and you lose track of your idea. So I think this workflow for me, now that I'm in the habit of using it this way, I pretty much do this all the time. I almost never play to a click, and it really makes following that inspiration, following that idea so much easier, because we're taking several steps out of the process, several obstacles out of our way. Okay, so that's pretty much it. Again, I am Exaltron, aka Scott Hampton. Please like and subscribe if you got anything out of this, and leave a comment, leave a question. Let me know what you'd like me to cover in future videos, and I will see you next time. Thank you for tuning in.